Hey, everybody, this is Tim Shock. We're here at the Black Cat Lounge. Where else would we be on a Tuesday night? Tuesday nights are here, the Black Cat Lounge. Listen, pants are optional as always. Always remember that, but do yourself a favor. Get a get a fleece blanket because it's a little chilly out there. We don't want any like frost on the pumpkins or anything. You know what I mean? But anyway, hey, how's everybody doing? Listen, Inauguration Day is tomorrow. Whether you love them, hate them, send love. Send lots of love to them. We're going to need it. The country is so divided, and we need this. And also, let's get those, whether you're a vacciner or anti-vacciner, listen, everybody, let's just try to get these vaccines out there to the people who need them and want them, especially in the inner cities and, where there's so many people out there that really kind of are afraid of them. But anyway, hey, I've been doing pretty good. And today I was informed that I shouldn't say all of us in the Black Cat Lounge won the prestigious award from our broadcast server, StreamYard. And as you can tell right over my shoulder, whoops, wrong shoulder, right over here, I got the prestigious StreamYard pillow, and I got a StreamYard mug. So I thought that was pretty darn cool. You're talking to a guy that never wins anything, So I'm just like so thrilled that I got a chance to get that. So that was like a total surprise to me. Everything's doing pretty good. Thank you guys for asking. There's a lot of people that have been sending prayers. It's a slow heal. I've had, as I've told you before, I've had some other work done in that eye. So it's going to take a while. And you know what? Yours truly is not a patient person. I am not. I still can't do any kind of heavy lifting. But at least I am out there doing some work. I want to say hello to everyone. I want to say hello to Claire. Hi, Claire. How are you? She's from the UK. We've got the representatives of Hull House here, and my Aunt Vivian is in. Love you, Aunt Vivian. It's so nice. Thank you for stopping in. Now, I'm not going to go and waste a lot of time talking about me, although I could do an hour or so, but that would be counterproductive to our guest. So I have got to go, and I've got to make this a special welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Black Cat Lounge. In this corner, wearing the striped trunks and the beautiful hair, the one, the only, Dustin Pari! Let's hear it for everybody! Yeah! Oh, Dustin!
Thank you very much, Mr. Shaw. Such excitement. My God.
When you come on this show, I've got to pull out all the stops. You go on these prestigious shows. I mean, you're on all the other shows and stuff that, because everybody wants a piece of the Dustin Pari guy. You know what I mean? So I have got to go and I have to make these things just amazing because Dustin Pari is a legend. He's a legend, ladies and gentlemen. People don't realize that this man here, he's not only just from Ghost Hunters. He's not only just from Ghost Hunters International. He is a motivational and inspirational speaker. He's an icon of that genre. He is a lover of sweets and cider. Oh my God, he's a spiritual seeker. And he's got an amazing. Wait a minute, Dustin. I got to tell everybody, he's got an amazing series out called Got a Minute. And let me tell you what, I love that. It's probably one of the best little blurbs that you can find. And if you don't watch it, shame on you because this guy is here. Dustin, how the hell are you, brother? It's so good to see you, man.
It's good to see you as well, Mr. Shaw. I appreciate it for sure. Someday I hope to live up to all of the accolades that you heap upon me, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, this is what happens when we meet. when we used to share the same agent and we met in the Detroit airport.
Yes, indeed. By the way, speaking of which,
yes.
I hate to do this as a guest on the show. I respect you and I adore you. But I have to correct you on one thing.
Uh-oh.
You said, and I love the StreamYard pillow, like the mallard. It's beautiful. It's a great award. It's nice. It's right up with like the leg lamp from A Christmas Story,
which I do have.
But you said you never won anything. Yet I've met your wife. Sir, you
Oh, you're
are
right.
very well
You're right.
blessed. You
You're
won the
right.
biggest prize.
I won the great. I won the best prize of all because believe me, or maybe I should say she won the prize because my sainted mother, my late mother used to go, "Oh, Tim, she was a New Englander and she used to go, "Oh, Tim, you're such a prize."
Something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, listen, I can't complain. She's put up with almost over 40 years of my nonsense. So,
That's
you know,
amazing.
and someday I'll grow up, but I don't think so.
No, don't rush. Take your
I,
time.
I don't think that's going to ever happen.
No, for sure. Indeed.
Oh, but I always remember, and I always like to bring it up whenever we get a chance, when we talk. I said, one of the greatest, I would say, because you know how much I love to fly. I don't. You know how much I love to sit in airports. I don't.
Right.
But you know what? It was that I will always remember as one of my best ever trips. And I always remember looking over and going, that looks like Dustin Pari.
Stop it.
Is it him? Wait a minute. Let me look. And then I would be doing the side glance. I'd be doing the
Stop.
Is that Dustin Pari? So I always remember I finally got the nerve to come over. Hey, and I was and I gave it the real quick. Hey, hi, Dustin, is that you? And you go, oh, hi. And I was going, hey, I'm Tim Shaw. Listen, I'm rep by the same agent, blah, 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 And I was like, okay, I'm not going to bother you. And I was going to go, I was like a fanboy. I was going to go slink back to my chair, go, oh, I met Dustin Pari,
And then we got on that tiny little plane and shared some of the strangest paranormal conversations and freaked out everybody else sitting around us.
They will never. I swear that air flight, that air attendant or the flight attendant will never even walk. She was walking by us, just looking at us like, what are they talking about?
You guys supposed to have someone with them? Should they be supervised?
I think, you know what? Just listen, just because we had our arms were like this and we were,
it was a small, cold plane, crazy.
Yeah, no. The scariest part was when you said to her, hey, can I sit up there next to my buddy?
Yeah.
And the whole plane was empty.
Yeah, well, it's nice to ask, for weight distribution and everything, make sure everything's okay.
That was funny. That was really good. That was really
times, good. Mr. Shore, indeed.
Yeah, it was. Dustin, everybody wants to know, and we talked a little bit off the air. How are you doing during this COVID crisis? I mean, this show, you remember my old show, the old radio show.
I still have the T-shirt.
Oh, dude. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. My favorites. Yeah, that old hat. It's the best.
Yeah, I gotta have some more. I gotta have some more made up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember back in the day, and we were, high flying and running around, and it was.
We were just kids, Tim.
Yeah, we were. Don't laugh. Think about how many years ago that was. Yeah, I think you figure I was on the air for 12 years, so it was like, oh my God, where's Dustin? Where's my walker? Damn it! Did you take my walker? Damn it! I know you took my walker. Damn it! But
I knew you before you were retired.
Yeah, you're right. You knew me when I still had some color in my beard. That and other places we won't go into.
We don't need to. No. I've never witnessed them, but I hear.
But 8x10 glossies are available, and we'll talk about that later. But anyway.
8x10's being generous, Tim.
Yeah, I know it is, isn't it? But I mean, I resurrected this show in response to so many people having so much trouble getting through the COVID crisis. I myself and a couple other people, we just said, you know what? Let's just put on some shows so people can go and get their mind off of what's going on, because everybody was glued to the TV. At that point, we didn't know, we didn't know what or how or, anything about how the spread worked. And it got a lot of people through, and we all did pretty well. How about you? I have busy years. You, my friend, and let me tell you something. This superstar that we're talking to right now is not just a pretty face. Tell him what you do during the day.
You flatter me, Timmy. Jeez.
No, I don't flatter. Listen, I don't flatter anybody. I only tell the truth. I'm only telling you the truth. So tell everybody what you do.
So by day, I work in healthcare. Been there for 19 years now. So this predated the TV shows. It's always been at least a part-time job. I would take time away. So I work in healthcare, work in facial, oral, and cosmetic surgery. I started as an anesthesia tech many, many moons ago. I still help out when they need me and when we're shorthanded, but now I'm the office manager, the COO of the company. So I run all our office locations and everything. And so COVID was, it's a healthcare thing, but we weren't, so the cosmetic stuff, obviously not essential, but, some of the other things that happen, infections and things like that people get, bad wisdom teeth, blah, blah, blah. Some of that was essential. So we were only closed for the 5 to 6 weeks it took for me to get the HVAC system up and going, get all the new stuff in there and do all those things. So, but I made the best of it, as I do. I was the only person in the office every day outside of once in a while an emergency thing. And I would play my Christmas music. It was March. We were closed March through April, and I played Christmas music every day. And I was like a dog. I'd get excited when the mail lady would come. We would talk for a little bit. It was very nice. But thankfully, family, friends, everybody stayed healthy, and everybody got through, here. So I'm thankful for that. And had to figure things out real quick, because as you know, man, being on the road, all the events could get squashed very fast.
Oh, wow.
A bunch of hopes, but
that was amazing.
We got virtual. That was it.
I think it was like a 1 month time. I mean, it was like 20 events for me were gone. It was just off the map, and in which I'm, I was happy about it because we had just moved into the house and I needed the extra time and the schedule from the year before really knocked me out. So this was great. But what was so great about what you were doing, Dust, is the fact that you reached out to the people. You went out there and you gave so much back, so much. If people, you guys gotta go on this page. You guys gotta look at the stuff. You didn't stop. You were reaching out. You were doing library stuff, virtual. You were doing so much virtual. I thought I have to commend you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Nick, as well. Man, I realized we just had to reassess what the plan was and find a new way to do it. And so, you learn about Zoom and stuff. I had a video background. I used to work for CBS News and Fox News. So I ordered my light kit here, my tripod for my laptop. I set everything up. And crazy enough, it ends up being the busiest year I've ever had. We did 80 lectures in total.
That's
amazing. 2 of them were in person. That was it. We bookended the year with in-person events, and then we did 78 in between. And a lot of motivational events, a lot of Christmas events, which was nice, I still love the paranormal, but it was a nice opportunity for me to bring a lot of my messages to different places, all the way to California. There were some days, because of the time zones, I was able to do 4 to 5 lectures a night.
That's crazy. Dude, that's crazy. That's insane. Listen, I can't go and change my shoes that many times a day. I'm just going to come right out and tell you. But
what's good though, Tim, is a lot of them, were hearing me for the first time and seeing what I'm about. And even my paranormal lectures have a lot of motivational things in there. And so this year we've already booked a bunch of the motivational lectures that I normally don't get a chance to do. I've got one for healthcare workers.
Right.
I got one just to it's called Get Off the Couch, or to keep people motivated in their day-to-day life. We've got some new paranormal lectures coming up this year. So I think we've already booked 18 or 19 this year. So it's going to be busy again. And I've got a lot of new material, and I just I feel like I still have a lot to give. And so I'm happy to do it, and I'm hoping to be able to do more,
I think it's fantastic. And Claire from the UK, she wants to know, Dustin, have you ever been to the UK?
Yes, Claire. When I was with the Ghost Hunters International show, I ended up actually in 27 countries. I think I was in England at least 4 or 5 times. Made it to Ireland, made it to Wales as well. And actually just this past weekend, I did my first virtual for a group in England. And it was to raise money, the Winter Festival, to raise money for Calm, which is a group that works with people with struggling mentally to get through this life and everything. So I was very thankful to be able to do that for them as well. So that's on Facebook. It's on my page, actually, if you want to check it out. It was a lecture based on Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So it was a lot of fun for me, too, because I'm a boy that likes chocolate, and I like to do lectures in weird ways. So it worked out.
Weird ways. No, that's an understatement. I always remember seeing you coming off the stage dressed in Kiss makeup. Yeah, that was like I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah,
But
I like
weird
to.
ways.
I always say, like, I have to be entertained. Like, I do it for the people, but I do it for myself. Like, if I'm not having fun, I don't want to be bothered. Like, I need to enjoy what I'm doing as well. This way, everyone gets to have a fun experience, So we shall see.
Oh, Chuck Herman wants to know when you're going to do an overnight at the Hinsdale. Chuck, let me tell you a little story about the Hinsdale house.
Oh boy,
Dustin, and our buddy Cody were up at the Hinsdale house, and they were coming home.
Yep.
And their rental car was struck by the world's largest crypto deer that you ever wanted to see in your life, and it just smushed. So, needless to say, the closest place that they could have this thing, what's left of this car towed to, was near my house.
Yeah.
So
because it was Sunday, everything else was closed.
Yeah. So I introduced him to the pleasures of Bella Cecilia, the restaurant there that even Dustin, who the guy is like a machine. He's an eating machine. He never stops. He's ravenous. I have to say, and it defeated him. So we know it was a good.
There was like 3 chicken cutlets. Like, it was huge. That was like chicken parm and a half.
Yeah, it was. It's like they're the size of turkey cutlets. That's the only way that
It was such a nice morning. Like, we had a nice time at the Hinsdale house, and like we had some weird encounters. And like Cody and I were driving back, and I was listening to Willie Nelson, and I was playing a song for him, "Worried Man," which was a Johnny Cash tune. And I'm like explaining the background story, and like we're on this 2-lane like road highway in Friendship, New York, and I'm trying to like stay toward the middle because there are those deer signs. And I around here I see deer all the time, so I'm looking for them. But it must have been down in the embankment, because the next thing I know, just like you felt something, and the hood was in the window. It was like I was in NASCAR, and I was able to brake and get us off the road. And the deer got up and ran away. And I felt like such a fool, because I called the police to tell them what happened. And I honestly said to them, a reindeer hit our car. And then I realized they don't call them reindeer; they're just deer. And I felt really stupid, but we told them the brand new rental car. It was absolutely total, not a scratch on Cody and I. Thankfully, airbags never deployed because it landed on the hood and never hit the bumper. But yeah, a reindeer hit my car.
Well, listen, you were in that frame of mind. You're always in a festive frame of mind. Now, you know what I love? And I've got to go, and I've got to see this. I've got to see this lecture. And it's all about, you stand up there, and I can go and say, let's see, how did your wife describe it? Your little box. Your little box of crap. You go to the dollar store and buy stuff, and then you open it up and tell everybody about them, because that, to me, I want to hear this, because I think that borders almost on inspirational speaking, where it's almost divinely centered, where it's almost like, I won't say trance, but it is where something else just alerts you and brings the proper words through your mouth to the crowd.
For sure, brother, and I appreciate you saying that. Honestly, there's sometimes I finish and people are clapping. I'm like, I wish I knew what I said.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it sucks when that happens.
Did somebody record it? But so that lecture is called The Magical Mystery Box, and I came up with that lecture idea because I loved the old like Pick a Path books or Choose Your Own Adventure from when we were kids. It's like, if you want the pirates to go in the cave, like, go to page 16. If you want them to row on, like, go to page 20. So that was fun because it was never the same story, And as a presenter, and Tim, like, this, like, if you do a straight lecture and you have your PowerPoint and your slides, it's kind of the same thing, where every joke hits or should hit, and that kind of thing. So with a mystery box, it's never the same lecture twice. It's literally a plastic box, and we fill it with different toys, trinkets, broken things, and each one has a story. And then I just ask for people out of the crowd to come up and select an item. And then we talk about why they chose it. I think there is a little like divine intervention there. Like, why did you choose this item? And then I tell the motivational story behind it. And it's fun for me as a presenter because I never know the order of operations. It's never the same lecture twice. I put new things in and out of the box all the time. And it never fails to amaze me, but it always seems to speak to like so many different people within that time. So there's some little clips of that on my YouTube channel too. So it's just youtube.com/Dustin Pari, and you can check out some of the mystery box things there, just like the Hey Got a Minute videos that Tim mentioned earlier.
Well, let's talk about those. Hey, got a minute. That is genius. I'm going to come right out and tell you. No. I remember when you sent me the first link to the very first one. I sat there and I was just like, why didn't I think of that? Damn it. Damn it. It is so good. And for those of you who don't, tell everybody, for those of you, of everybody who doesn't know what that is. And if you don't, I'm telling you, shame on you. Shame on you. You guys, after the show, you guys got to go sit in your closet and for 5 minutes by yourself and think about this.
Yeah. It's 7 minutes in heaven alone. It's wonderful. So the video series is called Hey Got a Minute, and they're all motivational videos, but I have a little timer where I just have a minute to explain the concept. There's some pre-production, there's like music and graphics because I like to package the thing, make it look nice. Every day of the week is different. So Soulful Sunday is something from a different world religion. Melodic Monday, we take a music lyric and I dress up in costume like a member of Kiss or whoever the band might be, or Elvis and such. Techno Tuesday, where we rally against technology. But every day of the week is something different. Saturday, I get to be a mad scientist. That one's fun. But I wanted to find a way to try to inspire and motivate people. But I realized like we don't have 20 to 30 minutes to sit there and watch a YouTube video all the time. Sometimes we do, and that's nice. But for what I do, I kind of lack the attention span myself. So a 1 minute clip of a video works, pretty well. So we have over 120 Hey Got a Minute videos now on the YouTube station, and I've written up the new batch, so we're going to start filming those this year. My good friend Cody Desbian, he helps me put them all together, and so all that'll be coming soon. But yeah, nothing's gone viral yet because I'm not a pretty girl doing a makeup tutorial or an unboxing of some sort. But if you get a chance, go check it out. See which day of the week maybe speaks to you the most, and there's a lot of good little thoughts in there. So Hey Got a Minute on YouTube.
I think it's fantastic. It is, but I got to tell you what, it's entertaining. It really is. It's entertaining.
Thank you.
But the messages that come through. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll come right out and tell you. There's a couple of them that I went and I'm watching, and at the end I go, he sucks. He just hit me. He just knocked me right off of this friggin' chair. He sucks. He sucks. I know he's talking to me. I know he's talking about me, and it's like, it's amazing. But I think that's how wonderful they are because people can internalize those things. It's what I think is what we need in this time,
I know, man. Well, I'm happy to help anybody anytime, and I feel like now's a good time for us to do a little reevaluation and see what motivates us and try to find new ways to kind of steer our ship as we go through life here. I say in every lecture that I do, Christmas, paranormal, or whatever it is, I always say that I really believe that we're all, just spirits going through this human experience. And while we're here, we should be looking after each other, loving each other, laughing, crying together, and trying to find our way through together. And so
I agree.
I'm just happy to help. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a trained therapist. I always try to point people to companies and groups like the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. But I'm just doing the best I can. And I have a helpful heart. I like to make weird videos. I like to dress up in face paint and things. So, by the way, here's a little sneak peek of what's coming in season 3. Dolly Parton.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. I've got the wig.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great.
I can't wait. But what I love about the whole thing is the fact that you've tackled some really hardcore issues. I mean, you really have. And you've been able to go and explore them, explain them, and project them in a way that is not insulting to anybody, which is like in this day and age,
hard.
You know what? In this day and age, we go out and say, Dustin, your hair looks good. What do you mean my hair looks good?
It's tough sometimes.
It is so tough. But you get a chance, you share so much of yourself out there when you do this. And I think that's commendable. And this is what I wish more people would do. Let me ask you this. For a lot of the people, who go out there, for a lot of the people, I'm an author, I write, I speak well. For a lot of the people who are having trouble right now with what's going on in the world, and 2020, very seldom do I ever get really where I have to turn the news off, where I get so upset over things. Do you have any advice for him? Because we're coming out of that. We're coming out of a circle, out of this cycle, man, that has just been terrible psychologically for those of us who aren't out there on the front lines. What can people? What do you think people can do to just?
It's tough, man. I think it's very important to really be aware of oneself. Be aware of what we take in. Just like it's easy to look at ourselves physically, more physically than it is mentally. We know if we eat a lot of bad foods and we don't exercise a lot, we're going to get bad results. We're going to feel unhealthy. We may not be our best self. It may be difficult to just do normal actions, to be mobile and do things. But mentally, we take in a lot of garbage. And because we don't automatically see the physical effects, often we continue to take in that garbage and we don't stop, So making sure that you're subscribing, when you're looking for feeds and things and social media, that you're subscribing to good things, that you're not just sitting there arguing with people and fighting and just digesting, bad things all the time. Trust me, like I said, I worked for CBS and Fox News locally for about 7 years in New England. And I left because, this was in, the late 90s, early 2000s.
I remember that.
I left, things weren't quite like it is now, but I left because I was like, this is not what I want to do. It's just, I'm always at a fire. Someone's always crying. Like, I don't want to report bad things all the time. So you have to be cognizant of what you take in. I actually have a brand new lecture called Screened, because life is not a virtual experience. And I've been actually working on this for 2 years. So I had no idea what was going to happen in 2020 and how reliant we were going to be forced to be. And thankfully, yes, of course, technology, does have a lot of wonderful features. The fact that I could do 80 lectures last year, the fact that our children can go to school at least part-time using these things, the fact that we can see each other for Thanksgiving, maybe we can't be there to get auntie's sloppy kisses on your cheek, but sometimes that's a good thing too, but at least you can say hello. But I wrote Screened because it's so important for us to know when to unplug, when to step away, when to limit ourselves, and just sometimes it's easy to get into that spiral. It becomes very habit forming. I even speak with my employees, like we don't ban cell phone use at the office, but you go back and you look on the cameras and there's the receptionist sitting there on the phone, 80% of the day when she's not doing something on, for the job. We've become obsessed with these things. And
I agree.
That's why we have Techno Tuesday on Hey Got a Minute, so we can yell about it and be grumpy old men and women.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about me?
No, I'm not talking about you. Just, there's some out there. It's not you. Of course.
But no, you're so correct, because when everything was starting to come down, and everything was really getting crazy, I was glued to that. I was glued to the TV. I was glued to my cell phone. I was glued to all the information outlets that I could possibly get a hold of, and it was just bad news after bad news after bad news. And after a while, it started to take a toll on me. And then I started thinking to myself, wait a minute, I don't have it that bad. I grew well. So, you remember this. You remember the war in Serbia, Bosnia, and you remember all the how terrible Somalia was. You remember how terrible so many of these, all these wars and everything in the third world nations, and all these refugees and the camps and starvation and disease. And then I think to myself, God, you know what? It's not that bad, and that's when I brought myself out of it. I finally brought myself out of it. And listen, my buddy Scott here, he is your biggest fan. And someday,
you were my biggest fan, Tim.
Well, you pay me to be your biggest fan. This is the guy that doesn't get paid to be your biggest.
That's why I have to work so much.
Yeah, I know. Listen. Being a fanboy is easy, but it ain't cheap, baby. Remember that.
There's flights to go to these events and things, Tim. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate it, sir.
Someday, I really want you to meet him. He's a great. Him and his wife Deidre are really great people, and I really he's like someday. And you know what? It's every so often when he says that, I go, someday your prince will come. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to go.
Little song though. I like it.
I kind of like it. It makes me happy.
Well, it matters to focus on what makes you happy. Don't hurt anybody else.
Hey, we got a high five from my buddy Bruce in Canada.
Hey, I love Canada. I miss Canada. I haven't been to Canada.
I do too. We all kind of miss it. Now, something that I know that you and I have really talked about for a long time, and I get questioned about it a lot when I was teaching or when I was speaking. So many people want to go, and they love they love the whole concept of ghost hunting and paranormal investigations, but they're afraid to do it because of their Christian backgrounds.
Right. Yeah.
And I know you're the only person I know that has actually gone and described and was able to go and hit that middle bridge between the two cultures. No, you really do, because of the fact that people don't realize that you are such a spiritual person because they know you from TV and they, you're just an all around nice guy, and you kiss babies and and stuff like that. But
good baby.
Yeah, but well, I know the real you, so never mind. I'll never tell. That'll cost you another $10. But I mean, really, you're the only one that I can actually come to with this, with this type of quandary. A lot of people just can't figure it out, and I've tried to do a good job, but I know I can't. I can't cover it like you could ever.
It's funny. I just spoke to a young lady about this morning. And so for those unfamiliar with just my personal background, I have a great respect for all major world religions, or anything where people are just living their lives in peace and love and looking to help each other out. I always say that if we really strip away the differences from the world religions, or maybe celebrate those differences and learn the wonderful aspects of the different cultures, when we look at in the core of them all, it's always about love, and that's what we need to focus on: love and kindness and taking care of each other. So I was born and raised up in a Catholic community, Catholic school. And then by the time I was in college, nothing really made a lot of sense to me. I could regurgitate all the things. I knew what to do when I went to the church, but I never felt connection. And so I took some time off, and I started reading books about Eastern philosophy, about Taoism and Buddhism. And I enjoyed a lot of the stories and a lot of the teachings and understandings. I thought, this is really good stuff. I'm really big into nature, so I like a lot of things that get presented in Wicca. And I was like, this is all wonderful, but still I felt like the relationship wasn't there. And for me, music is what really comes together, and it always kind of guides me through life. It's like this benchmarks my life, and when I hear a song, I knew where I was. And I was going to the gym one morning, and I heard a song by Toby Mac, who's a Christian artist. I just happened to be scanning through, and it just, something all of a sudden clicked, and Christianity all of a sudden became a home for me. And I felt it was more about relationship and less about rules. And that's where I found, understanding. And Lord knows I am not perfect by far. I screw up all the time. I really get down on myself when I do, and I want to be a better person. And I know it's in all of us to do that. But when it comes to the paranormal, coming from that understanding, people will be quick to point out things from Numbers, the book of Numbers, and from Deuteronomy and Leviticus, and say, well, you're not supposed to conjure spirits. You're not supposed to speak with spirits. But if you go and look at it, a lot of it talks about just not seeking guidance from them, not seeking knowledge of the future from them, for only God is omniscient. And so what many of us, at least definitely speaking for myself, but what many people I know in the paranormal field are doing is just kind of documenting what's there. We're just kind of seeing what's going on. We're not often, asking them for guidance in our lives. And yeah, like I've got friends like the wonderful Ken Boggle that does, the tarot card readings and such. And I know Tim does, his various things with seance and the rose leaf readings and everything. And it's fun, and I think we can get a lot of wisdom from that, for sure. But it's knowing when to, believe in yourself, and when people become reliant upon other things, that's where things get a little bit murky, you know. So we need to be aware of familiar spirits and put more faith in the big guy or girl upstairs, whatever you may or may not subscribe to. But I really feel like I always tell people, like, listen, if you go out there and you're just trying to have a good time, you're not doing any harm, you're not asking any of these hard questions, like it's fine, you know. And as far as my Christian friends go, like, and you can tell me I'm wrong and be angry if you want to, that's okay. But my understandings are, you know, when Christ comes back in the Bible, when he comes back after the resurrection, he's walking, you know, on the water, and they're afraid. They ask if he's a ghost. Doubting Thomas, Didymus the twin, wants to put his hand in his side because he cannot believe it, and he thinks that Christ is an apparition. Christ gives credence to these ideas. There's tons of apparitions of saints, of Mary after they pass away. And Christ himself goes forth and in the story of the unclean spirit, you know, gives people power in his name to cast these spirits out, which is not what I do. Let the church and people like that handle that. Call John Zaffis. But you can work.
No, don't call John Zaffis.
Yeah, absolutely. Give him a call.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy. But yeah, you know, I mean, I think the biggest problem that I have is that too many people rely on
just balance it out,
divination, and they rely on everything, and a lot of what they're afraid of is outdated dogma left over from somebody who one day said this is wrong. Right. And they're not taking into consideration that so many things were created by man rather than spirit or God or what have you. And I think the biggest problem that I have is, like, as a reader, as a medium, people coming up and they want me to tell them what to do. Right. That's not my job. Nope. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I want to go and I need to know the future. Well, you know what? I mean, you can walk out of the room and turn left instead of your normal right, and you can throw the whole dynamics off. This is how contentious this is. Yep. And too many people don't want to take responsibility.
Oh, for sure. With everything.
That's
somebody else to be responsible, somebody else to blame, somebody else to point the finger at. They're the reason. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's okay to screw up. It's okay to make mistakes, you know, and I always say, I just don't want to know what's at the end of the book. I want to enjoy my journey and just see how it goes.
But that's the way it should be. Now, I can teach people how to scry. I can teach people how to get in touch with spirit. I can give them the ethics of what's going on. Will they follow it? I can't. I can only give them the tools. And that's where, as a teacher, that's what that always drives me insane. But what the other thing is that I really get tired of, like, the enlightened. I'll put the enlightened over here, the enlightened ones, who turn around and bash the Bible, bash anything to do with Christianity or Judeo-Christian society or tradition. Because like yourself, I mean, I've studied a lot of comparison religions in my life, and it all breaks down to one thing: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Everything else is an interpretation by man. And that's what kills me. And you have to have, you know, you walk into, you go and get involved in ghost hunting, and what do? You're there to document. You're not there to,
predict the future and right.
Yeah,
indeed. But I mean, there's stories in the book like Saul and the Witch of Endor, where they conjure people up and talk to them and ask for advice. They say, okay, don't do that. But like the rest of the stuff, I love the Bible. I love a lot of stories in it. I don't like what a lot of people have done with it. The mystery thing, that it was inspired by God but written by man. So there's a lot of room for interpretation and things that spoke to that time to have been used, in very horrible situations and wrongly. But we have to be discerning enough to be like, okay, well, this doesn't really make sense. Like, I should not stone people to death. Like, why would that be in there? So they went through and they picked and chose what worked for that time. They're just furthering the religious platform of the politics at the time, and that's what they did. And it's unfortunate. But to hate somebody because of one belief or another, listen, exactly. I get it. A lot of people do horrible things in the name of different gods and goddesses all the time. But people are jerks. That's the bottom line. Some people are really good, and then some people are still jerks, regardless of color, creed, orientation, and however they identify. the common denominator is we could be really good and we could be a bunch of jerks. So we just try to hang out with good people and try to love the jerks.
That's exactly it. Now I gotta share with everybody a text that I got from you.
Oh,
This
Jim.
was a while ago. There was no photo involved, so we were lucky because I think it was about 2:00 my time. You were in California.
Okay.
And you were on board one of the ships out there.
And
And
the Hornet, maybe the Hornet.
yeah, I think it was the Hornet where you were using the Phasma box or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah.
And I mean, all of a sudden, my phone is buzzing. I'm going, what the hell? So I grabbed it real quick, and I looked at it. It's from you. I go, oh my God, I hope nothing's happened to your parents. Right away, I'm thinking all the worst things in the world, and you're like, you're not going to believe this. And I'll never forget when you said a woman in our group wanted to know what there was to do in heaven. And you said, let's do it. Yeah. And you can tell the rest of the story because it's great.
And again, I hate to correct the host. It was actually at a college in New England.
Oh, was it college?
It was a college in New England. I was sending you some other photos from the ship on the Hornet. That was a different one. So no, I was doing a college gig in here in New England, and it was the drama club had organized it. So after the lecture, we were doing the activity, the investigation activity, and it was one of those things where I had Phasma box on, and nothing was happening, nothing was coming through, and one of the students asked, can we ask, what do you do in heaven? I was like, well, you can ask, different energy. Sometimes we get different things going on because nothing's happening. And this is the only time this ever happened. I never asked religious questions, but the student asked, what do you do in heaven? And I swear to you, this girl's voice came over the Phasma box clear as day and said, hang out with Jesus Christ. And everybody was gasped for breath, like what just happened? And they look at me, I'm like, I'm sorry, could you repeat what you just said? I said, it sounded like hang out with Jesus Christ. And the girl says, yeah, God's son, gotta go. And then that was it. And nothing else happened. They were just staring at each other. And I was like, I remember I texted you, Tim, and I texted Chip Coffee. And I was like, it was so mind blowing for me. Because I was like, I've never heard that come across. And for it to be so clear, there's only 10 of us in the room and everybody heard it. And there was no other communication that entire time. So that was really cool, and it was a nice moment for sure. Indeed.
I got to tell you, that was, I think at that point, that really cemented my whole ideal of being able to go and justify doing everything that we do, because the spiritualist religion is not that much different. Believe me, they're not thrilled with people like me. They only put up with people like me because we bring in sometimes congregates into the church to hear us speak when we're talking about crazy stuff. But that was, to me, was so mind blowing. And I always remember sitting there and I sat up on the edge of the bed going, wow, okay. I can live with this. I really can.
So different. I kind of self-loathing when it comes to investigating because I'm the worst at documenting things. I'm just there for the experience, for TV.
Yeah, I am. That's me. That's me right there.
Yeah, I just want to be a part of the moment. So I wasn't running a recorder or anything, I was just, but to hear it was just so amazing indeed. And so I want to say hi to Satori and Adam. And I also wanted to tell Russ Gifford, I have 2 cups. I have water, not so much anymore. And in the Cheshire mug was hot cocoa with Lucky Charm marshmallows. And that's also gone now.
Because why? Lover of sweets.
I love it. So good.
Lover of sweets. I'm telling you. For anybody, if anybody wants to go and worm your way into Dustin Pari's heart, all you got to do is stand up at a VIP dinner and say, no. Those of you who will not finish your dessert, and a dessert is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
Please donate it to Dustin Pari. I always remember doing that. Don't ask me why. You know what? It wasn't me. I was channeling.
Sure, it wasn't you.
It was. I was channeling. Whatever it was took over my body, and I stood up at a VIP dinner and did that. And next thing I know, you probably had 20 or 30 on there of pieces of cake or something.
Yeah, it was good though. I mean, I couldn't finish all of it. I didn't want to jumpstart diabetes, but it was good. I ate what I could.
I give you credit. I don't know how you do it. I just
It's
don't.
balanced. Tim, do you remember in the 80s the McDLT?
Oh yeah.
It was like hot on one side, cold on the other. It was in that styrofoam like spaceship that they would give you. It was so big.
Yeah.
Everything in the 80s was in huge styrofoam. But the idea
Yep.
was the hot side would sit under the heat lamp and the cold side wouldn't. So when you got it, you got to put together basically a lukewarm burger was the result. But
Yes.
that's my idea for life. Like I go to the gym 5 or 6 nights a week, but like when I finish here, I just had hot cocoa. I've got cherry pie in the fridge. And so I'm just trying to balance things out. That's all. That's all we're trying to do.
My doctor would just be like, "Oh no, we have to speak." Here, wait a minute. Here, you need some more tests. We're going to figure this out. I'm going to find something else wrong with you.
By the way, if you go to YouTube after you finish watching all your Hey Got a Minute videos, you can search the McDale. I have a lot of time on my hands, not really, but I like weird stuff. You can search the McDale tea commercial. And the guy who played George in Seinfeld, Jason Alexander, is like dancing down the street singing about the McDLT in like this white suit or something. It's ridiculous, but it's really worth your time. McDLT commercial, Jason Alexander, beautiful stuff.
Oh my God! I'm just going to tell you, Dustin, way too much time on your hands. You've got to get back out on the road and spend.
I don't sleep a lot, so I look for things.
No, you got to get back out on the road and miss a few connections.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, some of my videos hanging out in Philadelphia Airport in O'Hare, like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours overnight sometimes.
Oh my God!
Sleeping there on the floor outside the little coffee shop and stuff. Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, you know what I've always wanted to ask you? Now you were on Ghost Hunters International.
Yeah.
What was it like to be on that show? Because I mean, listen, you're the pro. I've had a taste, and the little taste is rough sometimes. I mean, it's rough.
Yeah.
How was it being able to go and work in another country? And I mean, and let's face it, some of those countries that you were in I would have been worried about leaving the airport in a couple of them.
Yeah, for sure.
What was it like?
In some places. First off, really thankful for the opportunity to go to them. Because I never thought I'd be. I mean, I went to Canada once by bus, and I thought that would be my international travel. But thankfully, because of the show, like I said, I think I ended up like 27 countries in just around 2 years' time, and we would be in each country for usually about 2 weeks. And it was tough for me in terms of diet because I don't like a lot of seafood. I'm very particular about things, not so much from like nutrition, obviously, but just for taste. So I did well in places like Italy and the UK and such, not so much in like Malaysia and the Philippines. But it was great to be able to immerse yourself in a culture. It's so funny, the foreshadowing of life. In high school, I really loved sociology and death and dying. Those are like two of my favorite subjects. And to be able to go immerse yourself in a culture for 2 weeks at a time and learn their ways and butcher their language a little bit, trying to communicate. It really was such a blessing. It was wonderful. And the cases were great. You kind of get spoiled after a while because it's like, oh, you get to stay in the haunted castle. And in season 1, you're like, yeah, haunted castle. In season 2, it's like, oh, but the castle never has Wi-Fi. The castle doesn't have TV. The castle doesn't have heat. The castle often has mold. You get to share a bathroom with Barry. I'd really like a Motel 6, like something with a bed that fits me and like something I could do. But you look for the things and you realize like how blessed you are to have those experiences, But yeah, it definitely wears on you quite a bit, even just locally, just traveling through the States. It's nice, all the comforts of home. But, Tim, just it's planes, trains, and automobiles all the time. It's running through airports trying to get that next connection so you don't have to sleep all night like somewhere on the floor. But yeah, so I don't know. That's why I wrote some of the books and stuff too. I chronicled like the journey because I wanted people to realize, as cool as it was and as amazing as an opportunity, it was not easy. And some of the best stuff I think was behind the scenes along the way. So great opportunity. Thankful for it. And I don't know. I'm always up for adventure. So who knows what's next? But they know how to find me.
You know what? It's amazing, and I'm blessed because of the fact that I get a chance to, go to a couple places per year and be able to go out and speak and hang out and share a little bit of these crazy things that we do. But I think what I appreciate more than anything else is the difficulties of the journey. I mean, the difficulties of I mean, otherwise, if it wasn't for like having to think on your feet and figure out what was going on, and really just sitting there and just being like so miserable. And then in retrospect, and when you sit back and think about it, you go, that was a pretty cool time. I can't believe I did this, or I can't believe that I actually survived this,
Right.
I think I think we all grow through that. And
There was a lot of growth that happened because of it. A lot of those struggles and everything.
Yep.
And actually, I failed to mention, but Brandy Green, who was on the international show with me, a friend of mine, we've put together. We're actually still putting together season 2 now on YouTube. We have a show called Fuzzy Memories from the Road. And you can watch all the GHI episodes now for free on Peacock TV. You can download it, and you can watch all the episodes for free. And then you can catch Brandy and I on YouTube on Fuzzy Memories from the Road, trying to remember where we were and what we were doing. And I often think Joe Chin is places, but he wasn't with the team yet. But I always feel like he was there. He was like my spirit animal out there, But so it's a lot of fun. If you get a chance, if you like that kind of thing, you can hear a lot of behind-the-scenes stories from the road there.
My favorite experience is always waking up going, am I in Pittsburgh? Am I in Pittsburgh? I could be up in the Sault Ste. Marie.
There's some mornings I'd wake up and have to look at the currency, be like, what country am I in? I have no idea. We drive all night from country to country in Europe sometimes. And it's like, I have no idea at this point. You wake up dreaming that you're home, and you wake up, you're like some random place. It's like, oh, okay, still out here, I guess.
Oh, those are, again, that's what makes life interesting. Hey, my friend Amy wants to know, what is Dustin's all-time favorite hunt? And by the way, Amy's a big fan of yours.
Well, thank you very much, Amy. All-time favorite case that I did for the show would have to be the Clark Air Base in the Philippines. That's the only place that I've ever traveled where we actually witnessed and or documented everything that the client said we would. Often you get that laundry list of things you're going to see, hear, and experience, and you're there 2-3 nights, and you get maybe footsteps, or crappy EVP. So, and it was nice too at that air base because the client was an older man who was at one time a security guard there, and people had mocked him and said he was crazy and he was a drunk because he would tell people the stories of the spirit activity that he had witnessed. And so when we played back the EVPs for him and the disembodied voices, this gentleman just started crying. And it was just such a great thing, to have brought him some real understanding, and some validation. So that was really nice. So that was the Clark Air Base in the Philippines. And here in the stateside, St. Augustine will always be one of my favorites, the lighthouse, because that's the first time I had seen a full body apparition since the shadow figure that got me into this when I was a kid. So that was always a very special place. And a shout out to Mr. Bruce Tango, who is mocking me because he shared his meatball recipe with me. And for the love of God, I swear he tinkered with it or left something out, because they do not taste. Like when Bruce Tango would bring meatballs to set, you would shut down production. This was a feast. And he was so nice to give me the recipe, but like Dave told me, he probably left some stuff out on purpose.
That's Bruce. That's Bruce. That's Bruce. And Bruce is, and you know what? And Bruce is, the one thing I am blessed is the fact that because of the events that and conferences I've done, I get a chance to meet great guys like Bruce and Dustin and all sorts of other great people. So, I mean, it's just crazy to be able to do it. And we make lifelong friends. And what I love about this is that, we don't see each other for months at a time, a year at a time. But when we see each other, it's like we just talked an hour ago. And that's what I love about it.
You usually text me almost every day when I'm at Dunkin'. I don't know how you know. It must be the psychic abilities. But you seem to pick up on when I'm getting my coffee in the morning.
It's an important thing. It's an important thing.
I appreciate you looking in on me.
It's not me. It's them. It's them. They just want to know. And you know what? Here's my wife has an important question.
Oh,
Nancy wants to know, what hair products do you use? Because she's a former beautician, so yes. she's just amazed that your hair can stand up in all weather.
Yeah. It's like,
listen, I've been, we were up at Sault Ste. Marie, and I swear to God, it was like a hurricane. We got out of the bus and everybody's like crazy, and my beard is up over my head, and his hair is just perfect. So she just wants to know.
The cheap stuff. I use the Tresemme level 5 extra super duper hold, whatever that is. And then I've been washing it with this stuff, and I'm a sucker for good marketing. It's called the Anchorman shampoo. And let me tell you, it smells magical. It makes me feel really strong and confident in the day. So, I get it at Walmart. It's not too fancy, but it's just fancy enough to make me feel pretty in the moment.
I've got to get it because
Yeah, you can do the beard. Like, it doesn't say where you have to put it.
I got. Hey, this is.
Yeah.
I got to make this look beautiful. I got to make this beautiful. This is my claim to fame. I have nothing else that I can.
I've been growing this for like 7 days. Could almost see it there.
Oh my God, 7 days.
Yeah.
So I have to trim mine every 3 days because otherwise it'll go down. I'll look like Rumpelstiltskin at 7 days.
I've been sleeping, Mr. Shaw.
And Russell Guilford wants to know, what do I use for my hair? Mach 5 or Mach 4.
Right off, huh?
Just take it right off. Hey, we got a couple minutes left, and I want everybody to know how to either follow you, get in touch with you, how they can get a hold of you're just I'm just gonna say beautiful work that you do. No, I'm not lying. I'm not. Listen, Dustin. You know what I'm sucking up, and you know what I'm not sucking up, and you know right now I'm not sucking up. And that's the whole idea of you coming on this show, because I want my friends, and a lot of people that are in this room right now are my personal friends, whether they live next door to me or in another state. But I want them to know how that they can share your beautiful inspiration. I mean, really.
Thank you very much, Tim. I'm pretty easy to find. DustinPari.com is the website. I've got some links on there that go everywhere. You can find my YouTube channel. Everything's just at Dustin Pari. So on Twitter, I'm at Dustin Pari. Facebook /Dustin Pari. YouTube /Dustin Pari. Instagram, same thing. But if you go to the YouTube station, you'll be able to check out a lot of those Hey Get a Minute videos. You get to check out some selections from the Magical Mystery Box. If you go to my Facebook, just this weekend on Saturday, we posted the program we were doing overseas for the UK, and we've raised some funds and some awareness for people dealing with the mental struggles this year. And you can see my Pure Inspiration lecture with Willy Wonka as the theme, and so that's on my Facebook page. Check that out. And I've got a lot of good stuff coming, and a lot of the virtual stuff is free to watch. So, last year we did 80 of them. This year we're already booked like 18, so we should have a lot to check out. And so if you're looking for a little fun, either paranormal, motivation, spiritual, Christmas stuff, I got it. I almost made it through the Christmas one without crying this year, but A Christmas Carol and It's a Wonderful Life, they always tear me up a little bit. It's tough, but
no, it's
but it's real.
I'm telling you, you do some really wonderful work, and this is the time for it, and this is why I think I have always appreciated you, and thought of you as someone who is above. I don't know how to. I don't even know.
Nothing, sir, but I appreciate.
No. The idea is that we both know people that do stuff for money, the love of cash.
Yeah.
And we do know people that do it just for the love of doing it. And you are even above the love of doing it. You're there. I think you are a person that it's your love of mankind that really shows through. And that's why you do this. And I appreciate it. I do as someone who, I mean, it's not just as your buddy, but as someone who really follows you, and I love when you're successful, and I love when you post pictures of your daughter who's going to be 14.
No,
which is like insane to me,
right?
Totally insane to me. I
know, it's so crazy. I was talking to Chris Williams last night. She's like, I remember seeing her baby pictures when we were on the ferry in Ireland. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God, my heart is breaking. It's like, dear God, she was just this little wiener kid jumping around. She was taking dance and oh my God, and I think that's what really is just shocking me. But Dustin, stick around. I'll so I can say thank you properly after the show. But really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming on. Thanks for sharing laughs with me and sharing laughs with everybody. But most importantly, thank you for what you're doing for everybody out there. And that's what's so important, right? Especially at this time.
Thank you very much. And thanks to everybody for watching tonight and everything. And it really does mean a lot to me. I really do believe that, we're sharing this time, this world together. So not perfect, but trying like heck to help people out. So we'll continue the journey. Thanks for your support. Thank you so much, Tim. Love you very much.
I'll be right with you, kiddo.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you so much. Hey, and that's Dustin Pari. And what a beautiful person. He's just a beautiful person. And I'm so proud to be able to say that he's a friend of mine, and he's always been a true inspiration. And it's just so nice to be able to go and just to know that he's a phone call away or a text away or whatever. So anyway, before we leave, again, Infinite Spirit, Mother, Father, God, you are known by 1,000 name. Please, 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 please look down upon us and give our world some healing, give our society some healing, and let's calm everything. And everybody out there who is suffering with COVID or all the other little the things that are out there, all the diseases and everything, the disabilities, please send a bomb to help them. I do this in love and light. Amen. And everybody, thank you for listening in. Thank you for hanging out the Black Cat Lounge. Why? Because you guys are double cool. Because you guys know the elite meet next to the transfer station. Ciao, babies. Good night.